with you know, the meters are, you know, different devices report differently. Well, the same is true for this kind of stuff. So some devices report lots of things, some don't. And FM audit's not allowed to make stuff up. So the first couple ones are really just showing black cartridges. If you scroll down, you might be fortunate enough to maybe see like a maintenance kit or an imaging unit. We want to give you those for everything. There's one that's got fusers, transfers, rollers. I mean, they went a little overboard on that one, apparently. Yeah, I don't know why. But, you know, we want to give you that for everything, but, you know, if it's not there to give, we can't. So that's a conversation to have with the manufacturer and even the individual model people. But, you know, if it's there, we're going to give it to you. So that's what you're seeing in front of you. Now, these are all sort of like categories. You know, that toner is a category. Ink is its own category. Fusers, transfers, maintenance kits, those are all, you know, sort of their own thing. So what we're actually going to be doing today is working with this data, even though it's all sitting back there just waiting for us to access it. If you really didn't have anything better to do with your day, I suppose you could just kind of scroll through it on your own time and, you know, decide which ones needed your attention. But that's a little time consuming and also a little unnecessary because it is in a database. So we can actually set up searches where it brings certain pieces to your attention on a scheduled basis, and that's really what adaptive service management is designed to do. So we're going to do that today. We're going to browse into alerts because everything that we're going to do today is under alerts. We actually have to start in the settings, so I'm going to have you go to the very bottom option, which is settings, and we're going to choose the first option, which is ASM Global Administration Settings. This, when we finally log in and do it, sorry, I maybe wasn't moving quick enough, but when we do finally get to this area, this isn't something you're going to be doing on a regular basis. This is really kind of a one-shot deal, but the product itself is actually turned off when we install it, so I'm going to have us turn it on. So we're going to go to the third tab over, which is called ASM Processing Settings, and actually yours is already turned on. Do you guys actively have alerts coming in already? You do? Okay. Well, let's look at some of those things that we've actually defined and then look at what the alerts themselves are supposed to do. So we're going to go to alerts and we're going to view an alert definition. We can create alert definitions as well, but I want to see which ones you already have. So down, I think 3 more, and there will be a view alert definition. So there's a couple of different definitions. These are all consumable alerts. You'll notice that the first one is specific to toner. It's at 15% or less. The next one is specific to fusers, 15% or less. And then, of course, transfer kits, 15% or less. So each one of these is sort of dealing with a different category of data. I'm going to bring up the toner one so we can talk about toner and the settings that are already in place for this one and different things that you could choose to do with it. If you go back over to the far left-hand side, you'll actually see edit in front of that definition. We could go into any one, but I'm just going to have you go into the first one.
Okay.
Now that brought up all of that information for us pretty quickly and easily. Now we already saw just from the sort of summary information, but this particular one is a consumable alert. It's specific to toner. It's set at 15% or less. And that's actually designed to do all devices, all accounts underneath your iDocs account. So that's actually a lot of different pieces of data. Now, that I usually recommend that to begin with because I think that that's really important to, you know, at least have a good idea of the type of data that's in there. But, I mean, you might be experiencing a situation where there's certain devices that maybe you don't need to have that alerting coming in. And that's where filters comes in. Filters allow you to fill the information out. And you may notice it's actually set to all, which means that there's no filters. So right now everything is coming through. That's where I got that from. Now, when you use the drop downs, though, you'll actually see we've got several different filters available for you. We've got things like the managed and non-managed devices. We've got ability to filter by specific account if you want. We have the ability to search by manufacturer. So if, there's certain manufacturers you don't deal with, well, there's really no point in you getting that
Right.
information coming in.
Right.
What I recommend is that you run without filters at first, and every time that you get something that's not important to you, that you actually think of a filter that you could apply that would make sure it didn't even come to you. And at that point, apply the filter so that it's not going to be bothering you again.
Okay.
And you can have as many filters as you want. So let's say, yes, you wanted to do it by a specific account, but you also wanted to do the manufacturer in that account, or maybe you've got multiple accounts that you wanted to use with. You would actually choose the filtered method of account. You'd choose the first account. You'd add an additional filter, choose account, choose another account. So you can have like a whole bunch of different ones. Right?
Okay.
Now, what we're telling the product is, okay, when that situation is reached, we need to be notified. Actions is where we do those notifications. Right now, a dealer email goes out, okay, and it's a customized dealer email. See that little snow globe up there with the little red bottom? Because the bottom is red, that indicates to us that it's a customized behavior. If you go ahead and click on that, you'll actually see it expand, and then we'll be able to see who is emailed. Looks like it's you, so you're getting, I'm guessing you're getting, and actually.
Yes, I am.
Perfect. Okay, and are you also, I'm not sure if Oscar is getting them too, because that's a comma, and I think if you want multiple people, it's either a semicolon, I think is the one that you want to use too. What I would actually do is I would actually remove Oscar entirely out of this.
Okay.
And then I would add a new action. So click on apply to make sure, and now you see where it says add new action. That's where I would add another dealer email, and there it's okay. So go ahead and say leave this page. It's actually not going to leave this page, but because it's an existing one. Then use your little snow globe, and this is where we'll put Oscar's name, so that they're actually two different ones, but it's not going to affect, because I actually would question whether Oscar is receiving them at this point or not. I think you had,
I have no idea.
I think you had a contact type of custom recipient, and then we'll just put Oscar's email address.
Oh, okay, okay.
And then go ahead and apply that one. It's not a big change, but it's, you can see how we could add as many people as we wanted. So maybe there's some other people we want to spread the joy with. Well, we could do that too. And then you can overdue is, no problem. Overdue is what happens when a certain amount of time is reached, and in your case, that's actually been set to 8 hours. Now, normally when it goes, so 8 hours go by, nobody's touched it, it turns red. That's it. That's all that happens.
Oh, I see.
But if you have overdue action selected, that would mean after 8 hours, first you would receive the email. After 8 hours, it would turn red, but it would also, at that point, email Oscar. Now, if you did respond to it within those 8 hours, number one, it wouldn't turn red. Therefore, it wouldn't email Oscar.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So in order to do that, I would check that?
Yes. Yeah.
Or,
yep.
Okay. Great.
And then we just update it if that's what you want to
here?
do. Yes, I would actually update keeping schedule just so that it doesn't affect anything that we are currently doing.
Okay.
So that's a definition, and again, you have 3 of those in place already. You know, we're going to be done here super quick unless you start asking like a million questions, because you've already got so much done that actually I only have like 1 or 2 more things to show you, because you know you're ready. So I'm just going to show you what happens when those alerts are triggered, because yes, I guess you do get emails. I guess you probably already knew that. But more importantly to us at FM Audit is we actually put that information into an area that we call active alerts. So we're going to go into alerts and view active alerts, and yeah, we're going to leave the page. I don't know why it keeps asking us that. It really doesn't want us to leave this page, so
apparently.
Why? Don't leave. Okay, and again, I guess you're clear with this one, but by default, nothing happens on this page because you don't have an account selected. You can choose a specific account if you want, but you don't have to. You can actually go just to iGotDocs, and that's fine. Yeah, that shows everything. And you know, you may have wondered before about the fact that these ones are blue. Well, less than 8 hours have gone by for these ones, so they're fairly new.
Okay.
But of course, if you scroll down and you saw anything that was red, more than 8 hours, you know, so that's really what that means. And again, in our situation, what that means is that after that 8 hours goes by, it is going to turn red, but it's also at that point going to email Oscar.
Okay, great.
All right. Now, these are all things that are obviously, I think 15% was our trigger, so it caught all of these, 15% or less. Let's look at the 8% just as an example. That is at 8% right now, and that's when we sent our email over to you. When that moves to 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, it's going to be changing. It's still going to be in this list because it's still considered active, but it is not going to keep emailing you. It will remain in this list, but it won't email you again. And, you know, that's because we don't want to keep bombarding you. Now, it does drop off this list on its own once the toner cartridge is replaced. So if they replace it, then it's outside the active range. That means that it's off this list. But we like for you to dismiss the alert when you're finished with it here. And dismissing the alert is the, and that's how we also are going to stop it from going into overdue status. Because, of course, if we just left it here, it would go into overdue status. It wouldn't know that you had done anything. So dismissing is as simple as the little check marks and clicking on dismiss selected. And when you do that, they disappear. They don't really disappear, but they do move off this page and they go to the dismiss area. So we think that's the best idea on how to sort of deal with them. And that way this can be a working page for you. That every time you come in here, you should be able to see what does need your attention. Just like Oscar can come in here and be able to see, oh, okay, she didn't deal with the LaserJet 600 and the LaserJet 400, you know, or whatever. So
I have a quick question on this. Is this just for the admin to see, or can
dealer users can see? Dealer users can normally see this area. Now you can lock them out of it if you want, but the default setting is that they can see this area. They cannot, but they cannot create definitions and they can't see the alert definitions. They can't do that fancy stuff, but they can view active alerts and they can dismiss the active alerts. Now, I actually just this morning sat in on our new training, or our new version, training for the new version that's coming out later this week. And in that version, so I guess I can introduce it to you now since it's coming out so soon, you'll actually be able to see who dismissed things.
Oh, okay.
So it'll actually be part of, that was something that we've been having people ask for quite some time.
Yeah.
I mean, and it was there. It was in our database. It was just that we didn't make it available to see who did it. We could see if we went into your database, but it wasn't easy. But now it's very easy for you to see who did the dismissing.
Okay. Yeah. So when I move away from this page,
you actually have to click a button. You actually have to dismiss it. And it's hidden. You see where it says filter alerts, and it's a blue bar down a little bit more. I know it says filter alerts twice on the page we're on. So up a little bit more, but it's a blue bar that goes all the way across the page, but over on the left-hand side it shows the word filter alerts. Do you see it? I know it's so hard for me to explain where it is.
It's on the left?
Well, a little bit over, if you move your cursor slightly to the right from where you are. More.
Here.
Yes, see, I'm so sorry. It's so hard for me to explain where that is. And of course, like I said, they didn't make it easy by putting the same word on the page twice, but there we are. You see the blue words that say dismiss selected?
Words. Oh, yes.
Right there, that'll actually get rid of them right in front of you.
Okay.
And so that the next time you come in, they won't be there. So now there's 6, now there's 0.
Okay, great.
Okay.
So that's under alerts, view active alerts. Okay,
Yes.
great.
So that way you can say done, and then if Oscar, first of all, Oscar's not going to get those emails about those ones because you already dealt with them. And if he did come in and visit in here, he wouldn't see any of those triggered because you've already dealt with them.
Yep, I have.
And if you wanted to see them again, you can actually, you see where it says show dismissed alerts and there's no check mark there?
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah, put a check mark there and then filter the alerts with the filter alert button, which was the first one you were
Oh.
Sorry.
No.
See, it's going to bring them back, but their color changed. They're not blue anymore. They're yellow.
Okay.
And you can actually also, you see that there's a view in front of each and every one?
Uh-huh.
Well, go ahead and click on view for one of those devices. This is going to bring up the details for that particular device.
Okay.
And there's some information here. You know, things like monthly average volume, and you can actually see what the console message said. It says that the black cartridge is low. You can see, you know, that it's at 9%. We can also go to the historical evolution tab, which is the second tab over. We're just going to change the date range from, we're going to do current month, I think. It's far enough into the month.
Okay.
Once you could change it to any date range, but I mean, I'm just using this as an example. Somebody did a lot of printing right around the 11th or 12th. You can see how it went down. And then again, right around the 18th, they did some printing. When we see that replaced, it's going to shoot back up to 100% and it's going to start coming down again. So you can maybe even start to see some trends over time, because I'm guessing that that's, you know, maybe when they did something big for the company. Either, you know, maybe accounting did something big or the marketing program or something like that. But
you know, I don't know if you can answer this question or not, but another one of our customers, another one of these alerts. Let me show you which one. It was this one. It did the same really big dip. It went from like 30 to 0.
What kind of device is it?
It was 5%. It's this one. It's the CM6040.
I haven't heard anything specific to this one, especially for an HP. Let's check it out though. Let's look at where they did a big dip.
I didn't know if that's you know, a starter toner thing, you know, just because it's a starter toner, or if you've heard of that or not.
I have heard of a few Sharp devices that Sharp and Lexmark, and it's possible that this might be a rebranded Lexmark. Sometimes they do that and they don't tell us, but sometimes some devices don't report real well, and so some Sharps and some Lexmarks I've seen actually only report 100%, 75%, 50%, 5%, 25%, 5%.
Wow.
And the fact that it's going from 25, I guess it looks like 25. Maybe it's not 25. If you hover over that area, you could tell for sure. But so yeah, it's 27. So it looks like it's doing incremental ones. But there are some devices that you'll see that actually would only ever report, you know, 75. And you might be like, you know, there's this huge time between 75 and 50, but then it goes from 75 to 50, and it's kind of like, ooh, what happened? And that's just a limitation. That's the way the device works. I mean, that's what we do. I don't think that's the case here. And the other thing that I'm noticing is I think it's a cyan toner that went down at the same time. So that would indicate to me that, it's the drum kit that went down there. So definitely some correlation on some printing that they were doing at that time with a lot of black and maybe not a lot of color, because notice that the color did not necessarily dip at the same point. So yeah, definitely some black and white printing going on there.
Okay, great.
And meter reads.
The meter reads.
Yeah, and this is 30 days. You can change it if you wanted to a different time period. And then we can export the details here into Excel. I mean, I don't know why you'd have to do that, but I mean, it's there. Sometimes, you know, you're talking on the phone to the customer and, you know, there's no way I did that many. I don't know. So you could actually sort of, you know, you went from like 1453 to 1477, you know, or whatever.
Right. Right. Yeah, I was actually there yesterday, and they're like, I can't believe we've done 14,000 pages, and I'm like,
yeah,
well,
you did, and in fact, I would suggest most of those happened in between. If you back it up just a little bit, it looks like as of they did 3,000 pages in one day. And we'll even tell you what day that was. I mean,
okay.
So just back it up just a little bit more over to the left, and you can see the day that it's. Oh. Well, there's a day. I think it's like 3 or 4 days ago. You can see that they went from like 10,000 to 11,000 pages. Actually, they went to 11,285, and that was in one day.
Wow.
Yeah. So.
Dude.
Yeah. So, I mean, you could say, were you busy on this day? Because I'm seeing a pretty huge jump. It looks like they averaged like a couple hundred a day up until then. And then all of a sudden, kabam, 1,100 pages in one day.
Does it go into like really specific like time, of the day? Because it's reporting every 4 hours, right?
For the meter readings, it collects every 24 hours. So it does. It does 609 is approximately when you're doing your collection for this account.
Okay. So, but it doesn't go into farther collections than that.
For the supply and service data, it does it every 4 hours. And yeah, we do. If you want to skip to the next little tab over, which is the service information.
Okay. Yeah.
This one's kind of interesting. I don't know if you're still frozen or not, but.
They
still did.
Okay.
Well,
it won't scroll over, but
the service information is very similar. But remember, because we're collecting it more frequently, we're going to have more detail, and you can actually choose a time frame, and it's going to show you how long it was reporting. So you can say it's been in low toner for 4 or 5 days. It was jammed 3 different times, but only
got it.
for 15 minutes each time, or whatever.
Okay.
But that's really neat if you're having a problem with a customer or with a customer's machine, and especially if it's not one that you look after. This is even better, because you could say, look, were you having some problems with this machine? It's an older machine. I see that it had, these issues going on. I can replace it with this device, and you shouldn't see that many problems or whatever. And customers, sometimes they'll be like, oh, I forgot we even had that, so showing them things like that obviously sort of bring it to their attention. No, it jammed like 10 times last month. It's killing us, or whatever. So, and I mean, you can export the information and make it part of a presentation. You can use the little tables that are there, right-click on them, save them as a picture. It's a great visual to go along with your argument of, time to replace.
So how do you do that? I'm sorry?
Change the time period, the quick date. Yeah, just change it to like current month, just as an example.
Oh, okay.
Try current month, because this is current.
Oh.
And then current is the current day. So just try current month, and then that's where they give you the little table. It is in low toner status right now, though. And if you scroll down, you'll see it's been that way since about the 14th or 15th. So that's the only error state that it's really been in.
Okay.
And then our new version, I'm so excited for you guys, because it is so exciting. And like I said, normally they show it to us like a month before. Yeah, it's due out the end of the week. But the new version has error codes.
Oh, nice.
I know, it's super cool, and this has gotten a lot more specific for you, so that you can actually do some searching, and you can say, I only want to see critical errors in the last month, or whatever. And for triggering on your service alerts, you could say, I want to trigger only on critical alerts that have training for what's the word? Service technicians. So you can actually really sort of go down to just critical type stuff.
Okay.
So very neat. Yeah. So that's ASM. That's what I had for you.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we like
really
it.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. That is really cool.
Any other questions that you have for me?
No. Other than...
Just click on the filter alerts, and it'll
filter it away. It just hasn't sort of refreshed the page. Awesome. So if I were to add, definitions. If someone else wanted to be on the alert for whatever reason.
You'd edit one of the existing alerts. You'd only go to create alert definition if it's brand new. But if you wanted to, you'd view the alert definition so that you could see what you had, and then you'd use the edit button beside whichever one it was that you were going to be changing.
Okay.
And then you could add them to the action.
Okay.
Sounds more exciting than it is. Add them to the action.
And what if this requires approval thing?
I actually don't recommend requires approval. Requires approval puts in a whole extra step into your procedure that I don't think is necessary. What it does is it does not do the action until somebody approves it. So in this case, if you selected that, you would get your email. If it went into overdue status, it would send an email. You'd have to approve it, and then Oscar would get his email.
Okay.
Which is painful.
Okay. Yeah. That would take a lot of extra steps.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool.
Sounds great.
All right. Well, Christy, thank you once again. Let me know if there's anything that we can do to help, and I guess I'll be talking with you again soon.
All right. Thank you, Sally.
Thanks, Christy. Bye-bye.